Hmm. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. And thank you for joining with me in this time of contemplative prayer and meditation as we continue in our series on Advent, Angels Among Us. And this week we're going to focus on hashtag more joy. Like, what does that really mean to have more joy? And what particular aspect of fear gets in the way of us having more joy? Like, what does that look like, and how does that play out in our lives? The story this week was the story of the angel Gabriel coming to Joseph, who had every reason to be afraid, to be nervous, to worry, and to put appearances above love, above doing. He really wanted to do the right thing by Mary, and it must have been difficult and interesting in that time to go against convention, to decide that he was going to go ahead and take Mary as his wife, despite not really knowing or understanding fully why she was pregnant, knowing that it wasn't by him, and yet being willing to listen, being willing to put aside, I guess, his belief, his disbelief, and realize that to accept what the angel had to say, to really step into that opportunity to have more joy. And one of the things that got me thinking of is how, particularly around the holidays, how easy it is to let all these different things rob us of joy, from preparing for family gatherings, thinking we have to get X amount of cookies baked or X a number of types, or the house has to look a certain way, or the concern or worry about, getting to all the places and the presents and this and that. And in all of that, although there's aspects of joy, whenever we worry, whenever we start stepping into that place, it takes away our joy. So how often do we let appearances or what we think needs to be and look a certain way take away the joy in our lives, particularly around the holiday season, where it is a joyous time, and something as simple as trying to pick out the right Christmas tree can either bring joy or can bring frustration, and we get to have a little more of a choice in that than we realize. So, with all of that said, we're going to take some time to drop in, to connect with God, and to really just spend some time accessing the joy within us, the joy of the season, so that we too can proclaim with the angels, and as part of our series, hashtag more joy. So I invite you to close or lower your eyes, whatever is most comfortable for you, to get comfortable in the chair or on the floor that you're sitting in, to really allow that chair, that floor to support you, relaxing into it. And we are going to take 3 deep breaths together, starting from empty. Breathing in and letting it go with a sigh. Maybe wiggling our shoulders, moving our neck. Breathing in again and letting it out with a sigh. And one last time, breathing in even more deeply. Maybe holding it a little bit and then letting it out with a sigh. And as we allow our breath to return to its own natural rhythm, we just relax into this time and space, noticing any places in our bodies where we might be feeling some tension, some stress, and just allowing yourself in this moment to maybe just, for me, I tend to carry it in my shoulders and my neck. So just give yourself a little massage. Maybe it's your arms, maybe it's your belly, your solar plexus, maybe it's your back, just wherever it is, wherever you can easily reach. Just give it a little loving attention. Giving some presence to those places within us, the way our body carries us, no matter what else is going on in the world. Take a moment to just notice your thoughts, where they're going, what they're doing. And I invite you to leave anything that's come before this exact moment behind. It's the past. And anything that might be coming up later today or beyond today, that's the future. Do your best to let that go as well. That's where the worry sometimes comes from. We worry about the future. We worry about what might happen. We worry about what we need to be doing. And instead, I invite you to be as fully present as you can in this moment. Because this moment is where it's at. This moment is all you have. And you cannot worry and be present in this moment at the same time. Our access to God, our access to our higher selves, our ability to listen to God more closely happens when we are in the present. Think about that for a moment. Whether worry and being present and being actually loving can happen in the same time and place. Just notice, without judgment. It's an interesting thing to play with. For me, someone pointed this out to me years ago, that when I was worrying about my children, worrying about their future and everything, I couldn't love them in this moment. Like love and worry were not the same vibrational frequencies, so it was a choice. And I could choose to send them out into the world worrying about them, or I can choose to send them out in the world knowing that God had them and they were protected with love. So think about that for a moment, how we may let worry or fear take away our joy in the moment, our ability to love in the moment, our ability to be present in the moment. So come back to your breath, leaving worry behind, and focusing on your breath, not changing it, just noticing. So as you breathe in, see if you can allow more joy, more hope, more peace, more love, opening up your heart even more to what God has for you. And as you breathe out, let go of any worry or fear or anxiety or stress that may be hanging on. Breathing in God's love for you, breathing out anything that's unlike God's love for you. Breathing in more joy, breathing out anything that's unlike joy. Breathing in more peace, Breathing out anything that's unlike peace. Breathing in more hope. Breathing out anything that's unlike that, anything that gets in the way. Breathing in God's love for you. Breathing in out anything that's unlike God's love for you. So that is where we're going to stay in our time this morning. It's breathing in and opening our hearts ever wider to this present moment, to God's gift for us in this moment. Opening our ears and our hearts ever wider, not forcing it, but being okay with just as much as you're able. Opening it more. Being more present to God's love for you, God's joy for you, God's peace for you, God's hope for you. Those words that we're used to hearing at Advent time. Because the real gift is being present. So as you use your breath as the vehicle to stay fully present to God, what God has for you, breathe in what you need more of. Continue to breathe out that which is unlike love and joy and peace and hope. Staying in this present moment, the gift of this moment. And I invite you to open your heart even wider. What would God like you to know in this moment? For some of us, it's easier to access that heart wisdom and allow our ears and our hearts to open to what God has for us by placing our hands over our hearts. For me, it helps me get out of my head, because the moment that I put a question or a thought that I need some wisdom on, the moment I put my hands on my heart, I can access that heart wisdom, what God has for me, that comes from that place of pure, unconditional love. And it's from this place I invite you to invite in whatever it is that may be troubling you, the fear, the worry, whatever it is that you may have, and ask God to transmute that. What is it you need to know about that? What is it that it's trying to show you, teach you, heal within you? And see what God has to say to you. For me, it's being willing to be vulnerable and share that I'm struggling this year with going to a family gathering that I've gone to for years. But the change in venue, just the change in venue, has disrupted my joy around even attending this event. So I get to go deeper. I get to use my breath to open my heart even wider and ask what God would have me know about that. What is the healing for me in that? What is it that maybe I need to bring more love, more joy, more peace, more hope to that situation? How is it that I am being asked to show up? So I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes of silence for you to call to mind what is it that Spirit is laying on your heart, that there's wisdom, God's wisdom for you around that, whatever it is. And see what you hear in this moment. And it may be that right now it's silent and you just need to be with it. Remembering to keep breathing, not changing your breathing pattern, but just breathing. If you happen to have your journal nearby, I invite you, as you get flashes of wisdom, to go ahead and jot it down and then go back and listen even more deeply, being even more fully present in this moment. And if you don't have your journal nearby, just know that you will remember what you need to remember. And if this happens to be feeling strange to you or uncomfortable, I invite you just to open as wide as you can and continue to listen as deeply as you can, knowing that God will bring some angel to you at some point in the next few days, and you will have your answer. And you are welcome to stay in this space for as long as you would like, continuing to stay in the present moment, allowing God to speak to you around what needs more healing, so that you too can have more hope, more peace, more joy, more love this holiday season. And if you are ready, or need to move on with your day, I invite you to wiggle your fingers and your toes, still keeping your eyes closed or lowered. And I learned this, or heard this, and it's kind of fun, is I invite you to rub your hands together, if you so choose, and just put them over your eyes. And then when you're ready, gently open your eyes and come back to this present moment as much as you're able. I just, I found that putting my hands over my eyes just was a nice, gentle way to come out of a deeper time of contemplative prayer and meditation. So I hope that you received some wisdom. I know that I did, and a lot of it for me was just staying in the present moment and actually not allowing anyone or anything to rob me of my joy. And so this wonderful family gathering that I look forward to every year, just the change of venue doesn't, and the particular family member that I'm having challenges with doesn't need, it's up to me whether I choose to let them rob me of my joy or not. And I don't need to. and that my connection to God can stay solid through all the family gatherings, through everything that's happening this holiday season, so that I can stay more present and experience more joy and more love and more peace and more hope. So may you have a very blessed Christmas. We will not be having a meditation this next Thursday, but we'll start right back up in the new year. Have a very blessed week and blessed Christmas. And remember that there are angels among us.